Any other members? I'll start with Wendy. Any question or comment?
No questions, no.
Eileen, are you there?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Harry, who's Harry?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, great. Then at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve the certificate of compliance for 681 Plymouth Street, map 36, lot 37.
Second,
And a second, any further discussion? All right, I'll go back to roll call vote, please.
Join the meeting online. It's like,
Do you there? All right, roll call vote, please. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Wendy Smith,
Aye.
Eileen Prisco,
Aye.
Harry Bailey.
aye.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the next item under Conservation Business Administrative Items is Certificate of Compliance, 750 South Street, map 74, lot 103. Steve,
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm recusing myself from this one.
Thank you, Eileen.
All right, thank you. Steve, I thank you for your updates and a very thorough report. I'm going to let you open, and there is an email that was received that you can also read in for the other commissioners to have on record. Thank you.
So to issue the report on this, you guys are all familiar with the site at 750 South Street. This has been an ongoing matter since I joined the town of Bridgewater. We issued a partial certificate of compliance referring to the recording of the easement, which was part of the special orders of conditions for this project, and then some stabilization and erosion control practices and notification standards that needed to be met prior to allowing this site to move forward. All those conditions were met. The site has been constructed. A single family home is now standing there with all associated appurtenances, including a driveway. There's hay currently in the yard leading up to a silt fence and erosion control, which is still intact, which leads down gradient to an isolated land subject to flooding, which is the resource area that is in question here. So basically, what we're left to approve tonight that's left from the certificate of compliance is really that the project was completed in compliance with the order of conditions. And I do have a email that was received by the department from an attorney representing the abutter located next door, Miss Doherty at 750, I believe it's 758 South Street is her address. So this email says, "Hi Steve, I am not sure if I'm able to attend the Conservation Commission meeting. As such, I would ask that this email be read into the record. Attached is a copy of the recorded easement and order of conditions. Reference is made to condition 3 in attachment A of the order of conditions. This requires a stormwater control and drainage easement to be recorded as part of the order of conditions. The easement was recorded. The easement language is clear. Grantor agrees to create and maintain a grass swale as shown of the above referenced NOI plans in Exhibit A. Given that the order of conditions required the easement, I would think that the commission would take into consideration that a grass swale easement was approved, not an easement with a driveway located within the easement. Similarly, the easement requires the swale to be grassed. The driveway in the swale and lack of grass is not in compliance with the order of conditions or the easement. 310 CMR 10.05 section 9, comma A requires that upon written request by the applicant, a certificate of compliance shall be issued by the issuing authority within 21 days of receipt thereof and shall certify on Form 8 that the activity or portions thereof described in the notice of intent and plans has been completed in compliance with the order. The work as completed does not comply with the order of conditions. While I understand the commission may not want to get involved with the enforcement of private property rights, the commission is obligated to enforce the conditions that were approved, which did not include a driveway in the easement area. As you're aware, 310 CMR 10.05 9-D requires that the engineer certify compliance with the plans and set forth what deviation, if any, exists from the plans in the order shall accompany the request for a certificate of compliance. Condition 6 in attachment A of the order of condition echoes this requirement. The engineer's certification fails to identify the deviations. Frankly, the grading change that directs water towards Miss Doherty's property is a significant deviation of the approved plans and easement. Based upon the foregoing, the applicant does not satisfy the requirements to request a COC from the commission. While I appreciate you asking the town's engineer to look at the easement, he should be looking at the plans and the agreed upon easement. I am sure that the current property owner or future property owner would be appreciative if it were pointed out to them that the easement plans require a grass swale, not a driveway within the swale, and correct same now rather than having to endure additional costs to correct it later. Thanks. Mike O'Shaughnessy, attorney at law. So that is the email to be read into the record. You guys have all seen my report. This is the as-built that was sent over to the department for our review. The questions about the driveway, you can see that yellow dash line, that is the 100-foot buffer zone. As it said in the email, this area is outside the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction, and it is in my opinion and professional expertise that this sets a dangerous precedent in this case because it is extending the amount of jurisdiction that the conservation could have. And again, ultimately, this will probably end up being a private issue between abutting landowners rather than something that the Conservation Commission should be dealing with. So therefore, I believe that the project has met the standards on the remainder of everything that was included in the order of conditions in the certificate of compliance request, because of all those things that are included inside the buffer zone. All those performance standards have been met and completed in compliance. Therefore, with the slight deviations of there being straw, but with the indication that we're going to have a spring that's also going to be wet, there was loam and seed called for, the site is still stable right now. So therefore, the intent of this loam and seed versus the hay is the same thing. We still have stabilization. Therefore, the performance standard of not allowing sediment to run down into the isolated wetland, thus impacting its ability to store floodwaters, is not impacted. Therefore, I don't see any reason why the site isn't in compliance to meet the standards of the Wetlands Protection Act at both the state level and the local town bylaw. So I would suggest issuing a COC.
Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate that. I went out today and did a site visit. I'm, well known with this filing as well as, So, the things that I'm looking at in the wetland is that, swale, the mitigation area I thought looked great, doing good, doing well, just a general reminder with everybody at this time of season to watch your siltation lines as we want the grass to mature and things staying out of that area. But the mitigation, the swale, those things looked very good to me. Looking into this and reading everything, yeah, I mean, the bottom line, if you're out of our jurisdiction, you're out of our jurisdiction. I'm not going to get into something like that. So that's, my thoughts on it. What areas I looked at wetland pertaining to look to be doing well. We actually, Harry, any thoughts? I'll go right to the line.
I drive by this quite often on my way to the transfer station, so I've kept an eye on it all along. I was glad to see the protection of the basin area. I was also glad when they put the seed down and they put straw over it to keep everything where it belonged. I've checked it during and after rainstorms. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, as we know, straw does help with stabilization. Had a lot of experience with that. Wendy, any comments on this, please?
No, I don't think so. Just listening.
Okay.
Sounds okay to me.
We also have Azu on. Azu, do we have Azu make any comments as the engineer or? I keep
yeah.
forgetting you're not the town engineer.
No, I do have, Marilyn, as part of your packet, there is actually the review from Gregory Tanzi,
Yes.
town engineer, and he did go out on site after the driveway had been paved, and he actually concluded that the way that the driveway is pitched, most of the runoff actually does drain and convey towards South Street. There's a very minimal amount that would convey towards the actual easement itself.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there, but that is just from an engineering perspective. It seems the water is actually conveying towards South Street.
Yeah. I read his report. I just saw Azu's name with engineer and said, eh. All right. So at this time, the chair would entertain a motion, please.
Hold on one second. We may want to hear, I do see May Doherty on the line. I would like her to give her a chance to at least comment.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what part did you say was out of your jurisdiction?
The driveway
Driveway.
and the easement.
And the easement is out of your jurisdiction?
Yes, Miss Doherty. If you look along the right side of what's on the screen right now,
Yeah,
If you look at the bottom, the right side of the property, see that yellow dash line?
yes.
So that yellow dash line is the extent of the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction under the Wetlands Protection Act and the town bylaw. So there's a very small corner of the driveway that is associated with the house, but it is up near the corner. It is not near that spur or little kick out for parking or for actually, from what I understand, it's actually for a safety reason so that people don't have to back out onto South Street. It's so that they can turn around and then come out onto South Street. So it's just a lot safer that way. Again, neither here nor there, but that's why it's there. And so the level of the driveway that is in our jurisdiction, as far as the Conservation Commission is speaking, is that small corner that's located next to the porch and right in front of the garage.
Okay. What about the thing about it needs to be grass?
Right. So with loam and seed was called for in the order. There is seed that was put down on site underneath the straw that is there. The straw is there to stabilize the site to make sure that the erosion potential and sedimentation potential is kept to a minimum. It's a best management practice, and it's doing its job as of now. It's something we will have to monitor over the course of the winter to make sure that it continues to do its job. In the spring, we expect this site to take off and become stable very quickly. Along that right side, if you're looking at from the street view, along that right side, that easement is actually pretty well vegetated and grassed already. It is mainly this left side of the home leading down to the swale area that has a lot of straw on it, and it's allowing, as that breaks down, it will provide nutrients for the grass to grow in the spring.
But are you saying you would make sure that it is grassed or that?
Well, if we start experiencing a situation where there's now sediment running into that wetland again, or that wetland resource area, then we will issue what's called an enforcement order if need be. So this isn't the end of the line for the commission's jurisdiction on this site. It carries in perpetuity. So if anything goes wrong after this, the commission, if the situation arises to that point, would have to act.
Oh, okay. That's what I didn't understand, I guess, whether you were just saying, well, that's.
Nope, we have to continue to monitor it. It's part of, these things are protected, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in whatever year or moving forward for quite a long time.
Oh, okay. And you feel like the grass will grow or it will be grassed and it just needs to take its time.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. We
Okay.
got lucky with some warm weather here, but it wasn't just enough to make it take. I don't think it will have any problem growing in the spring.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And the other thing was the grading that
Sure.
Mike had brought up.
Yes, so I had the engineer take a look at the grading within the easement, and it's pretty consistent within the swale itself. There were some minor changes that were made with this spur that was a kick out on the driveway. But
Yeah.
as the town engineer reviewed the driveway and said that it really has no impact on the water that is conveying towards your property, it actually helps it convey towards South Street.
Okay. They did take out, one portion that seemed to be more in the swale.
Yeah, I could of course come take a look at it. I don't think it's anything that would be, unless it's inside the commission's jurisdiction. Again, if we're talking something that's out by the street, it's something else. It's probably a private landowner matter between you and the owner.
Okay.
Because at this point, the commission's jurisdiction ends at that yellow line.
But your feeling is the grading, it isn't graded to come onto my land, it's graded to go back to the back area.
I can't say that, but I could say that the town engineer took a quick look at this, and that's what his thoughts were. And I can send you that review if you would like to. I could send it to you tomorrow morning. I will send you that review based on his look at the site.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Doherty, thank you for coming. I just want to also point out that, like Harry says, he drives by there. That's his part of town going to work. So that's going to get an eye just about probably 5 out of 7 days a week. That's our concern, those areas there that they maintain and flourish. And like I said, Ginger reminded for everybody this season to make sure that everything's up with the fence is good. So thank you and have a great Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Thank you, honey. All right, any other comments? Chair would entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve the order of conditions for
Certificate of compliance.
750 South Street.
Certificate of compliance.
Certificate of
Certificate of
compliance.
compliance, 750 South Street.
Map 74, lot 103. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussions?
There was a question in the chat about jurisdiction from the yellow line. Whose is it?
Oh,
We're already called to vote at this time.
It's not the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction.
you know
So-
what? That's my daughter.
All right, at this point, roll call vote, please. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Berry,
Aye.
Wendy Smith.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Again, happy
Thank you, everyone.
Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Marilyn, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Steve, would you mind keeping an eye on the chat? I just can't see it while I share my screen. Nothing's popping up for me.
Yeah, I am. I had answered the first question about reading the email to the record, which I did, and the additional question about whose jurisdiction picks up at the yellow line. It could be a multitude of different boards, to be honest. I just know that it's not this one.
Okay, I just want you to know I couldn't see them.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Sorry, Marilyn, I apologize.
No, no worries. If you can't see somebody, that's fine. Yeah. Administrative approval, MADFS, moving along. Item number 3. Steve, please.
Sure. What do we have for graphic? Okay, so the graphics are in the report. Okay, good. So this one, in October of 2019, an RDA was filed by the Massachusetts Division of Fire Services out on the jail complex site to do enhancements. They're turning this into a training facility or upgrading it at the time. So what you see here is an aerial of one of the huts that is being transformed into classrooms. And as you can see a blown up version of it, you look down and you can see the HVAC pad in the back. You can see where the 100-foot buffer zone is that comes through the middle of the building. And so what was already existing on site was this cross-hatched white area showing 20 by 17. That's the existing concrete cement pad. They are asking for an increased size of 8 by 17 because they underestimated the size of the HVAC pad they would need. So in lieu of making them come back to file for another additional RDA with them being a state agency, having to re-advertise and do all those things all over again, I think this is a small enough change to the plans that we will ultimately see in some form of as-built or other plans along the way, that an administrative approval by the commission would be sufficient to allow them to do this work without having to come back and present to you guys, but that is up to you. If you would like to see a more formal filing, you can order that and I can contact the engineer and ask for that, or you can decide to approve it tonight and I could send to the engineer saying that, yes, they approved your small change. We'll see it on the plans coming up towards the closing of the project.
All right, thank you, Steve. So my question would be then, we would definitely have this on plan, this small change, before we would then vote to close those plans and approve them.
Sure.
Okay. Any member, Harry? Question?
I'm all set.
Wendy?
I'm all set too.
Okay. Is Eileen back on?
I am.
Oh, okay. Any question on this? Eileen? Eileen?
Eileen's muted.
Okay, sorry, I was talking, but it wasn't going out. No, I have no questions. I am fine with it.
Okay. Steve, do you need an official roll call vote on this approval?
Yes,
For
please.
administrative, yep, okay, no problem. All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey?
Aye.
Eileen Frisco?
Aye.
Wendy Smith?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. Next on the agenda, we have approval of meeting minutes, November 4th. I'm all set. Everybody read them?
Yes.
I did, yeah, yep.
All right, motion, please.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for November 4th.
Second.
All right, any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none. Roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey?
Aye.
Eileen Frisco?
Aye.
Wendy Smith?
Aye.
Okay, great. All right, we are now going into enforcement at 0 and 1300 Vernon.
This is where I bid you guys adieu. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving and a good holiday season, and I'll see you all soon.
You
All
too,
right.
You
Steve.
also,
Well,
Steve.
Enjoy that baby.
Have a Great Thanksgiving. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay. Vernon Street, do we have Jen? Thank you for joining us. Azu, are you present?
Who's muted?
Azu, I can't see him.
There he
Yeah,
is.
yes.
Oh, there. Okay, just wanted to make sure you were with. Are you?
Yes, I'm driving, so that's why I don't have a video, so I don't get distracted and crash.
No worries, no worries. All right, again, thank you. Thank you both, Jen and Azu, as we really want to, work through this. So we, as we know, with Vernon Street has been an ongoing thing. So back in November, I believe it's around, actually I have the letter in front of me, November 20th. I'm not sure when the original filing was, but I knew back then we had sent out a cease and desist. They, filing was withdrawn without prejudice. They were coming back in. There's a pile there, that was done for a driveway that was done without a permit. So at that time, we said, all right, they're coming back in with a new filing. We'll address the pile then. Coming back in with a new filing. Unfortunately, this keeps getting continued, lengthy continuance. So we cannot not look at that pile that's there without a permit. So on September 14th, Jen drafted up for the commission. We sent out a letter stating to, at that time, it is Mr. Bajinka, who is the, not the owner, but the
Applicant.
applicant, thank you. Stating that please, within 21 days, please restore that pile as it was amazed originally with barriers. We got an email, a letter back from NJ Construction on September 24th, stating, and I'll read it into the record, at this time, I do not have permission from the property owner to proceed with any work at 0 and 1300 Vernon Street. So the commission at this time really needs the guidance with Jen and Azu going through with this. Somebody's going to have to be responsible for this pile. We now, I think, are going out to March or something on a next meeting with them. So this has to be addressed now. So I do not have a lot of experience on enforcement. I don't like to see those naughty lists. So Azu, a question to you doing some research is, on an enforcement order, which I am very confused right now, who this even goes to be honest with you, Azu and Jen, like who is this going to? How do we get their attention to take care of this area? Do we need to issue them a permit to go into this area and now, fix that? Yeah, put it back to where it was amazed. And how do we move forward? So either one of you want to, guide us through this would be great. And that was my main question since the last time we had talked with Jen here.
Azu, you want to take that one?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, hold on a while, because I'm getting feedback. So I don't know if it's my connect.
I think you dropped out.
Hello?
You have an application that is still pending before the commission property?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and so it's an open hearing. And is the fill that's on the property included? Is that fill located on the property for which we have an open hearing?
Well, the hearing is for an ANRAD, Azu. It's to,
Right,
it's
but
delineate the wetlands.
but that hearing is still open.
Correct.
Okay, so the commission issued any overview on the ANRAD, and in the meantime, they did some work on the property. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So if you send them notice of violation and they said, oh, by the way, we will remove the fill, and then they turn back and said to you, oh, we don't have permission to go and remove the fill. Well, if they had permission to bring the field in the first place. And the owner didn't tell them, hey, you don't have the right to come on my property. Well, it seems to me suspect that now all of a sudden they don't have that permit, to enter the property. Well, any violation, right? A violation that occurs relative to the local bylaw and relative to the Wetlands Protection Act. If the commission has determined that a violation occurred on the land, well, the violation runs with the land and not necessarily with the person. Right now, you're believing that the construction company caused the violation, okay? But the violation, the property owner had to be aware of the fact that there was work being performed on his or her property. Therefore, the violation goes with the land, and the notice of violation in the form of an enforcement order and or a cease and desist order goes to the landowner.
So the cease
Absolutely.
and cease and desist went out last year.
Yeah, so now the next course of action is that the commission needs to send a notice to the landowner and say that this has to be addressed and give a timeline.
They didn't pick it up. That was sent and they didn't pick
And
it up.
then
Yeah, well,
Pardon?
We did
Okay.
send one to the landowner, Azu. It never got, we sent it certified mail. It never got delivered.
Well, then you have to send a constable.
Yep.
You have
All
to
right.
send a constable. Okay, you have to send a constable. And then the constable then can certify that he or she made that effort, and they because they have to look at that person. When you send a constable, they have to look at that person and then serve them. And when the constable goes, they're not going to refuse that. And then part of that requirement, that notification, is then telling them that the commission will then vote whether they accept or not. The commission then can vote to issue a fine, because they have a right to be present when you're voting to issue a fine. And then letting them know that also that if they do not respond, that then the enforcement order will have to be recorded by the commission on the property. So that would be the due process that you will ever undertake.
okay, so Jen, am I hearing Azu correctly? So it goes to the property owner?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, so I guess take it one step at a time. That goes out, if it doesn't get picked up, a constable, and then we'll go from there, correct?
So do you want us to resend the original letter with a constable, or do you want us to do the enforcement order next?
My thoughts, I mean, this has been going on. My thoughts on enforcement, let's weigh in what the other commissioners think.
Well, I think that a letter stating that at the next meeting they should be present. And if they're not, then we will be, I mean, I don't know how we can do it legally without maybe town council look at it, but they should be present so that they can, you know, have a say in what we're gonna do. What do you think, Jennifer?
I mean, that would be acceptable. I'm happy to do whatever the commission wants to do, another letter, a letter asking them to attend your next meeting, straight to enforcement order. I mean, I think we're not 100% sure that the property owner is even aware that the first letter went out. So I think it's probably appropriate to send them a letter, just informing them of this, and invite, if you want to invite them to your next meeting, that's probably not a bad idea. And then we can have this full on discussion with the property owner. You know, maybe as simple as, hey, why are you not letting, you know, Manny do this work? We need this work done. And
Right.
maybe simple as that kind of a conversation, you know?
I agree.
Harriet, yep, I'm sorry. Harry, any comments?
I think the letter has already been sent out. They didn't pick it up. They know it got there, right?
Yeah.
Now you send it with the constable. That
Yep.
way they have to get it. Stop wasting time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Wendy?
I would say the same thing, send with the constable
All right. Thank you.
and
then-
have them attend the next meeting so that they
Yeah.
can hear it.
So I think after hearing everybody's comments and Jen and everybody, I think a letter with the constable and then getting him in front of the next meeting. And then after that, if we're not getting a response, it's enforcement.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So at this point, Azu, any further comments on this?
No, I think well, you are pretty clear and you are all on the same page. And I think Jen, Jen's comments are rather appropriate. It's basically what the commission wants to do. It's what Jen will execute. And so I think you're on the right path. You wanna definitely show up that the commission has exhausted all its options, and that way, when you drop the hammer, you will be acting in good faith and not in a capricious manner, because you've
I agree.
extended all
Yeah, I
the
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's not something that we're used to. So thank you for your, putting education on this, which sad, but, all right. So I would assume that I would need to take a vote on this for issuing of the letter.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
All right. So Chair would entertain a motion, please.
Motion to issue the letter for 0 to 1300 Vernon Street to the homeowners requesting they attend the next meeting and a potential violation.
Yeah, violation discussion.
To be
Discussion.
delivered by a constable.
Yeah, I was
delivered by
just
a
gonna say it's
constable.
delivered by a constable. Yep.
Okay. And that would be what, December 6th, 8th, is it?
Next meeting, December 9th.
9th.
I second.
All right, hearing a second, any further discussion?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, roll call vote, Marilyn McDonald, aye. Harry Bailey,
Aye.
Wendy Smith,
Aye.
Eileen Frisco.
Aye.
All right. Again, Jen and Azu, thank you very much on this matter.
Thank you, Azu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, Azu.
Happy
Well,
Thanksgiving.
Wait,
Everybody-
Hold on,
Marilyn,
hold- oh yeah, Azu, don't go anywhere. Yeah, right. Azu?
I was gonna say, you don't want Azu to leave, right, Marilyn?
No, I don't. Thank you. Azu?
Oh, I got a bad connection now.
No, you don't. You pull over.
Nice
Wow,
try.
wow. Nice try. Yes, you stay right put. Thank you, Jen. All right, so moving along, we have under items of discussion. So Steve had sent the email on this possible violation, but being very close to Vernon, means that we're gonna go out and check it. With the weather coming, and a zoo would like notification to the homeowners. So we really need to get boots on the ground, go out there and take a look. I'd like to do it on the sooner end. A zoo, what do you think? Because we've got, the weather's not always gonna be on our side. So,
I am available Friday after Thanksgiving or Monday.
Friday after Thanksgiving, I don't know.
I have a wedding.
And some of us do work.
Let me check my hospital schedule. And now, Nicole, do you have their contact information? I mean, technically, commission can go out, but we're, given a heads up, like, we're gonna come on your property. Please
So
make
one
sure
of them-
dogs are in.
So one of the owners, I
His
can't
hand
remember
is
the
up.
addresses right now, but one of them saw it on the agenda and she came in and we had a brief discussion just to let her know, like, no one's assuming anything wrong is happening. There was just a call and they have to check it out. So she's aware and she seemed fine. Once we told her what it was about, she seemed fine. So she's aware you'll be coming, but I can certainly maybe reach out to her to get other people to find the other information. I'm sure one way or another, I can certainly get their information.
Okay, we got
1340,
1300, and 1310.
Yeah.
Do you know which one she was on?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, her name?
Is there-
Yeah, she's actually on right now. Mrs. Keely,
Yes.
she's on.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am on.
I can answer those questions. I'm
What's your
happy to
address?
answer those questions. My name is Arthur Keneally. I live at 1310 Vernon Street, and my wife Sandra's also on the phone now too. So we'd like to kind of address this a little bit, if it's all right. Do you mind if I just?
Well, this
kinda
is
go
not really an
through,
open meeting with this. It's just a notification that we're coming out to the ad. So we really can't discuss anything about it till we bring it forth with anything. So All right.
Can
so
I
this
ask a
is-
question then?
You can ask me a straight question with Jen on the phone. We should be able to help you, Line.
Yeah, how did this complaint come in?
I believe it was a phone call to our office. I was not the one that took the phone call, so I don't know that for sure, but I believe it was a phone call to our office.
Is that the normal way the commission handles complaints? I mean, somebody just calls
Um,
and that's
Yep,
it?
they come in all different ways. They can come in writing, they can come in over the phone, they can come in, people walk in sometimes and give us, concerns. So they come in all different shapes and sizes.
Okay, it just seems kind of strange that from what I understand, they were talking about chainsaw activity and all that, and there hasn't been anything like that in a couple of years since the mosquito commission cleaned up the brook at with the commission's approval. And I'm wondering if the person who called in confused it with the massive amount of chainsaw activity that's gone on the other side of Vernon Street, across from 1310, 1330, and 1340 over the last 3 to 4 weeks. There's been a lot of work out there, including the town and some private contractors and that kind of thing. So that's one of the reasons I ask.
Okay,
And
thank
if there's, since I understand it's not an open meeting, I won't ask any more questions or infer any more information unless you want to talk about it.
No, just so that every complaint, because it's not conservation police, so any complaint that comes into the office, we check out. That's all. It's standard, because we're not seeing everything every day. So if anybody does have a concern, it's our obligation, along with the town agent, to check it out. That's all, pretty routine. So we'll, like I said, we need boots on the ground before the weather gets bad to actually get a visual and see if there is or is not anything going on. That's all.
Okay.
But thank you. All right. So Azu will be in contact with Nicole and schedule. I don't have my hospital schedule in front of me, so I will follow up on the Monday. I'm pretty sure I am off Monday. I gotta stretch after the, I
Okay.
found it. I found it.
Alright.
I
So-
am off.
So let Nicole know what time on Monday, and then I'll make myself available.
All right, sounds good. All right,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody.
Night.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks, Azu.
Yeah,
Thank you, Azu.
I mean, that's a vast area. I don't want to get people nervous walking around their backyards.
All right. Have
All
a good one.
right, and we have thank you so much, Azu.
Yes. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Environmental planner report. Jen, do you have anything on that?
I don't,
Okay,
and I don't think that Steve did. I spoke with him today. I don't think he had anything to add today.
all right, we'll follow up on next meeting. Any other issues or concerns from the commission while we're all online before December?
None.
Okay, all right, then you know what motion I will entertain.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
In a second, all in favor? Oh, roll call vote. Marilyn McDonald, aye. Eileen?
Aye.
Harry, Wendy?
Well, aye.
All right, and one more comment, please all have a blessed and great Thanksgiving. Enjoy your
Happy
family.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
You also,
Night, everyone.
everybody.
Everybody, bye-bye.